Q3107. At what altitude shall the altimeter be set to 29.92 when climbing to cruising flight level? A. 14,500 feet MSL. B. 18,000 feet MSL. C. 24,000 feet MSL. The correct answer is B. When climbing to cruising flight level, the altimeter should be set to a standard pressure setting of 29.92 inches of mercury in Hg or 1013.2 hectopascals HPA. This standard pressure setting is used above the transition altitude, which is typically 18,000 feet in the United States. 3254. Altimeter setting is the value to which the barometric pressure scale of the altimeter is set, so the altimeter indicates A. Calibrated altitude at field elevation. B. Absolute altitude at field elevation. C. True altitude at field elevation. The correct answer is C. The altimeter setting is the value to which the barometric pressure scale of the altimeter is set so that the altimeter indicates true altitude at field elevation. The altimeter measures the atmospheric pressure, and by setting it to the correct altimeter setting, it compensates for the variations in atmospheric pressure at different locations and provides an indication of the true altitude above sea level or field elevation. 3255. How do variations in temperature affect the altimeter? A. Pressure levels are raised on warm days, and the indicated altitude is lower than true altitude. B. Higher temperatures expand the pressure levels, and the indicated altitude is higher than true altitude. C. Lower temperatures lower the pressure levels, and the indicated altitude is lower than true altitude. The correct answer is A. Variations in temperature affect the altimeter because the altimeter measures pressure, and temperature changes can cause variations in atmospheric pressure. On warm days, the air expands and becomes less dense, resulting in higher pressure levels. Since the altimeter is calibrated based on standard atmospheric conditions, the indicated altitude will be lower than the true altitude on warm days. This is because the altimeter assumes standard pressure levels and does not account for the expansion of the air due to higher temperatures. 3256. What is true altitude? A. The vertical distance of the aircraft above sea level. B. The vertical distance of the aircraft above the surface. C. The height above the standard datum plane. The correct answer is A. True altitude refers to the vertical distance of an aircraft above sea level, MSL. It is a measurement of the aircraft's height above a reference point, which is typically mean sea level. True altitude takes into account the aircraft's elevation with respect to the Earth's surface, regardless of any variations in terrain or local elevation. It provides a standardized and consistent measure of altitude that can be used for navigation, air traffic control, and other aviation purposes. 3392. Under what condition will true altitude be lower than indicated altitude? A. In colder than standard air temperature. B. In warmer than standard air temperature. C. When density altitude is higher than indicated altitude. The correct answer is A. True altitude can be lower than indicated altitude when the actual air temperature is colder than the standard temperature for a given altitude. This is because colder air is denser than standard air and results in a higher pressure altitude. The altimeter, which is calibrated based on the standard atmospheric conditions, will indicate a higher altitude than the true altitude in colder temperatures. As the air temperature decreases, the altimeter will overstate the altitude because it assumes standard temperature conditions. Pilots must take this into account when interpreting altitude readings, especially in colder or non-standard temperature conditions.